What's up, guys? Honey with you here, bringing you episode 5 anime review of That Time I Reincarnated as a Slime. This episode was pretty good. I liked it a lot. It began with them, in the butterfly night bar, them drinking, having fun, chilling, and whatnot. And then it was brought to Aroma's attention of, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Maru or Ramara, but Slime, our main character, one of the elves was like, "Do you want me to tell your fortune?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And she was like, "What type of fortune do you want to see?" And where he's, thinking about what type of fortune he wants to see, the girl that he's sitting on her lap is like, "How about to see who he's destined to be with?" And everyone liked that idea, so that's what they went with. And we see the little kids hugging this one chick, and this one chick looks kind of like a Japanese girl, and Rumura said that himself, and that was basically the premonition of who he should be with. So, and he was thinking, is this real? Is there anyone for me to be with since I'm a slime in this world? Why not? So, he's kind of like torn between the two. But while this is going on, we get some trash talking going on from somebody saying hopefully that work is done, and we get to see Minister Vista there, the one that the elf, not the elf, but the dwarf was supposed to make 20 swords for. He goes up to the table and he's like, "I hope that work is done," and blah blah blah. And the dwarf was like, "Yeah, it's done." And he's like, "What? Really? Serious?" And he was super shocked and surprised. And everyone, the slime remover, was like, "This guy's trying to get you in trouble." So then he turned his attention to the slime, Remora, and he was like, "Why is there a monster here?" And he went to the main lady in the front, and he was like, "Y'all allow a monster in this bar?" And she was like, "No, but the slime seems friendly and harmless." And he was like, "But it's still a monster. It shouldn't be here." And she just tried to play him off. So she went up to him with a big glass. Was like, "Come on, have a drink, to calm ourselves." And he took the drink, but before he drank it, he looked like he was about to drink it, but in reality, he didn't really want to drink it. After he took it, he just turned and he poured it all over, Remora. And Remora was really upset, but he didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to cause trouble since this is a minister of the city, or town, I should say. And so he was just gonna let it slide. But then I think it's Kanji, my fault, Kanji, the dwarf who made the swords last episode, the one who took him to this bar, he came out of nowhere and just haymakered the guy. And then he went up to him and he was like, "You're not gonna get away with what you just did to my friend here." And it's funny because he went up to go beat him up, and the slime was like, "Anything but the face." And I'm like, good point. He is a minister, someone important. His face should be somewhat intact. You don't want to get too much in trouble for beating him that bad. So that was a good call on, Remora. But he beat the daylight out of this guy, and then they got arrested, of course, by his, Kanji's brother, who's the main guard of that police force in that city. So they put them on trial. And the thing I love about this episode is that besides all the committed aspect that we have, one of the main committed aspect that we keep seeing, especially in this episode, is the fact that one goblin that is supposed to be his scout, the one that helps him to get in here and know about this area, he's still in jail sleeping, hanging upside down in a cocoon. So that's funny. But they all get sent to that same jail cell where he's still sleeping, and they have to wait on trial now for laying their hands on a minister. And they talking, and before they actually get arrested, the last thing he said was to Remura, Kanji. He was like, "You said you was looking for an artisan to help you with the city, an artist, and I'm that artist." And he was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, sure," and stuff like that. But of course they got arrested and sent to jail. So, and then in jail they continue with it, and the three friends who also got locked up because, they were part of that hit group. All three decided to go with him. So Vermora is not just going to have the artist that he needs. He's going to have even 3 additional artists, which is the teammates of this guy. So that's 4 dwarves that are good at, making stuff. So that Goblin Village is going to get one heck of an upgrade. So can't wait to see that. But they got on trial, and Kanji thought, it's just going to be a fine for striking him. A high fine, but a fine at least. Unfortunately, it came out to actually be a lot worse. Rista, the minister he struck, had paid off his lawyer to lie against them and say that they started the fight and they struck him first and beat him down. And he had like this fake patches and a broken arm and all this other stuff that he shouldn't have had because he didn't get hurt that badly. Not to mention the guy didn't strike him in the face and he was pulling his punches. So we all knew he was faking it, but he paid it off pretty well. And they were all sentenced. Kaji, the slime Ramara, our main character, and the other 3 dwarves. All 5 of them were exiled. That is their sentence, so they can no longer ever come back to the city. So, which is a very sad thing because, the 4 dwarves, this is where they were born and raised. This is their countryside, their hometown. Their friends and family are here, so since they got banned, they can never come back in. Which means the only way for them to see their family and friends is for their family and friends to leave on vacation outside the city to go visit them. So it's kind of very sad when you really think about it. And as much as you want to hate Vista for what he did and for the crumminess, this episode did a good thing turning it around. Because after they got exiled and they left, we found out that Kanji was actually a general before. And his lieutenant was Vista. And they always had like a bad grudge against each other because Vista was jealous that he's a peasant and he's under him serving him. So this is where the stimulation of like anger is coming from and jealousy between Vista towards him. So I forgot to mention that was stated in the episode. It was also stated that Kanji was a captain, a royal captain of one of the, I believe, 7 or 12 guards of the royal guard. So he's not just very smart and craftsman, he's probably very powerful as well. So, will we ever get to see him in action? Who knows? We may never get to see his fighting skill. We may just get to see his crafting skills instead. But it's nice to know that he can fight too. And he even told, the king that as much as I would like to go back to, join your side, I already promised somebody else to help them. So even if you order it, I can't help you. And, a lot of the guards ain't really like that, but the king was like, hold your weapons, and they all went back. But after that, to get it exiled, like I said earlier, I wanted to hate on Vesta for that dirtiness that he pulled, but then something bad also happened to him. Because the king was like, I lost a loyal retainer, and Vesta thought he was talking about Kanji. And in reality, he was actually talking about Vista. And then Vista, when he caught on, he was like, what did I do? And they showed him the potion that the slime made. And the king was like, thanks to you messing up ties with the slime, we can no longer get these potions. Which is a 98% fail rate. Which means the success rate is only 2%. So the fact that the slime can make these at will was really useful, but they messed up the relationship thanks to what he did. So Vista also got punished. He didn't get exiled, but his punishment is actually a lot worse. Because he's no longer allowed to be in front of the king. Which means he lost his right as minister. And losing that is like basically like getting like it's like being the president and getting stripped from it. Or being a vice president and getting stripped from that position. And getting kicked out of the office. That's technically what happened to him. So now he's going to go back to being just a rich brat. Because he came from a royal family. So he's still wealthy, but he won't have that power or ties anymore. And he messed that up. And he will never get that again. So he's exiled in a certain point as well. Because he's not exiled from the city, but he's exiled from the court, technically. And that's worse because he really did have a great loyalty and love for the king and respect him. But thanks to what he did to Kanji in his runs, and messing up the relationship that the king could have had with the slime, yeah, things are not looking too good now for him either. And it's sad because, like I said, I wanted to hate on him, but they did such a good job showing how much respect he had for the king and why he does the things that he does. It's like, it's kind of understandable because in reality, there are people like that falls into that trap. And it's a very easy trap to fall into, regardless if you're a good person or a bad person. So it was kind of hard to hate on him, but it was a good episode. And then we get the little tidbit of the end of the king, which his name is Gazelle. He said something very interesting. He had like this weird assassin thing behind him. We couldn't tell it was a chick or a guy, but I think it's a chick. But he told that person, keep your eye on the slime and the countryman and his people, and don't let him notice you. And then that person left, and he said to himself in a login that he sensed a great power from him, and that he's just as dangerous as the storm dragon Vakala, I believe his name was, the dragon that he became friend with, Slime, Remora. They both gave each other the name Tempesta as their last family name. So yeah, and you have to remember he also devoured him in his stomach, so he can find a way to break that seal. So somewhere towards the end of this series, we should be that ceiling. That ceiling should be broken eventually, and the dragon should be released. And not to mention their family's getting bigger because they have the Tempest wolves, and we have these 4 dwarves now, and the city of the goblins, and whoever else he collects in his team / family for the future. But that was basically the end of the episode. Again, great episode. We had a lot of good things on this episode. We didn't get, the story didn't progress far, but the character development for a lot of these characters have dramatically increased, especially for the king, because he's known as the hero king, and he's like the most powerful dwarf and the king of the dwarves, so he's going to be a very important character in the future, guarantee that, especially since he knew about the dragon, and stated that the slime is as powerful as the dragon. He even said this is a untamable beast, so, or something along that lines. I don't remember what type of beast he said. I'm not sure if it was untamable or unbeatable, but he said it was some type of weird beast or overwhelming beast. So, and that was like when it shut off and then went to the ending credits. But yeah, that time I reincarnated as a slime has been really, really good. 5 episodes, and I'm still intrigued and waiting for more. And I also can't stress enough, I forgot to mention this in my other reviews, but the anime opening and ending song is very beautiful. The art and animation, gorgeous. Hopefully, I know this is kind of early, but hopefully we get a season 2. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is based off a light novel, just like Overlord and Sword Art Online. So hopefully we get more seasons to this as well. But tell me your thoughts, comments, and opinions. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Hit that notification bell so you can get the noti of when I post something. Because if you just push subscribe and not the bell, sometimes YouTube won't let you know. But this is all for y'all today, guys, and hopefully I see you in the next one. Peace.